I had a colleague ask me, what are the most innovative recognition practices you've been hearing about in 2017? So I had this fun task of being able to put together a list for you. Some of these things won't feel that innovative, and that just simply means you are a rock star. And if it's new and it's exciting, by all means, go ahead and steal it or create it into a new strategy that you are going to be able to implement in your organization. First one that I just heard about a couple weeks ago, apparently Best Buy has Be Amazing ambushes. So somebody who's done something above and beyond has been amazing. They will have 100 people descend upon that store and surprise that person with an acknowledgement. I think there's a gift card and people support and there's cheers, and what an amazing, surprising way, the exponential power of recognition to make sure somebody realizes that people are noticing the great things that they're doing. I've told you in another vlog post about Jessie, who works at Northern Lights College, busy executive. She decided that she was going to put out a recognition challenge. She had 2 free tickets to join her husband and her at a sold-out concert. And she said, hey, everybody, tell me about the most amazing person that you think deserves these wonderful, coveted tickets. And her inbox just flooded with people acknowledging their colleagues. And that inspired a dean, and then that inspired the president to not only issue their own challenges with tickets, but also it just created an electric buzz, an energy. And the president wrote handwritten thank you notes to every person who nominated and every person who was nominated. Such a great example. I just recently read about the CEO of Belfour Holdings, Sheldon Yellen, and he writes over 7,000 birthday cards a year, personalized notes to employees, and he learns a little bit about each employee. And he said this culture of compassion, those were his words, are what he learned needs to be practiced 30 years ago. So he's been doing this for a very long time. And when does he have time to do it? Anytime he hops on an airplane, he makes sure he's a stack of cards and that he has some information about each employee. I just love that. When I was doing some work for a really great company, Bioscience, it's a small pharma company here in Canada. We had a kickoff meeting at the beginning of the year, and they made recognition really fun. They had a VP that I was working with. He had fun little items that you can get at a dollar store or at Home Depot or various places, and he made up a fun, kitschy way of being able to acknowledge that person. And so the acknowledgement was real, and the way it was delivered was fun and very, very memorable for everybody. In Home Depot, I did some training for a very high-performing stores on recognition. And they took that and they evolved it. And one of the most inspirational stores, what they're doing is they decided to dedicate, they have a frog standing for Forever Recognize Others' Greatness, and that became a department acknowledgement symbol. And so it was in honor of an employee that sadly is no longer with Home Depot, passed away, and they wanted to put it in this person's honor. And it started in that person's department, and then each department on a monthly basis gets to nominate another department because of great service, because they've been another great colleague, a great department. And it's that kind of innovation where people learn about concepts and strategies, and then they make it their own and they make it meaningful. People are so excited to receive that award, and they know that it comes from the heart. It's not fake. In Walmart, if you notice, you go in and people are wearing small smiley face pins, and then larger ones. Each smiley face pin represents a customer acknowledgement. It hasn't been vetted, it hasn't been approved. It just simply means some customer took the time to fill out an acknowledgement and drop it in the customer service box. Once you get to 5, then those smaller pins you trade it in for a larger pin, and so on and so forth. So it's a great way to be able to visually see that recognition's happening, that you've got who the stars are in the organization, and customers, it puts recognition in your hands, which I think we can do more and more of. North York General Hospital, they had a really fun way of engaging their customers for Patient Safety Week. They put out little frog cards, and they encourage people to talk about the staff members of the departments that practice patient safety and that deserves acknowledgement. And within days, their whole front lobby was just covered in frogs with very specific, meaningful words. And if there's one thing I know from working in healthcare for a long time, When the frontline staff know that it's the patients, the families, and the people that they work closest with who are acknowledging it, that's what really connects with people's hearts. I love to hand out squishy frogs, so of course I encourage you to find your own fun way of being able to acknowledge, and I can tell you countless stories of people where that's really touched them, even though it's something that is so very weird. And the last thing I mentioned is, for those of you who have my book, check out page 114. There's all kinds of awards that they have. And this is one of the things I talked about in another vlog, is when you keep recognition fresh and when you have multiple ways of recognizing people that are fun. She's got the Attaboy Award, the Biggest Oops Award. Her staff meetings are called Me, We, Inc., where individuals contribute a skill that may be very different from what they practice on the job. It keeps it fresh and fun. Hope you have had some great ideas from these suggestions. And don't forget to include in the comment section any of your ideas that I haven't covered yet, because we can only get better by sharing those strategies together. Of course, if you see great examples in blog posts on Twitter, please do include those links as well. And of course, jump over to the cool stuff page of my website, because I'm going to be uploading even more innovative ideas there, and there's all kinds of resources for you to keep the recognition in your workplace fresh, meaningful, and inspirational. My name's Sarah McDaniel. Be well and be great.